It is Friday. It is October 3rd, and we've got rain showing up. Let me pull up the radar. This is the live radar. Let me make it do this. And we'll put in the cities, and you can see the scattered showers showing up kind of up in this area. The rainfall has been pretty great. As we go through the next couple of days, it'll die down. The weekend looks nice, warmer. Today, temperatures in the Central Valley are just going to be in the 60s. Chico's going to go 68 degrees. Tahoe will go 61. Out in Sacramento, 70 degrees. And then these scattered showers, not just delivering rain to the west slope of the Sierra Nevada, over an inch in some cases, but it's also delivering snow up around Lake Tahoe. So we've got this live camera view of Siberia, top of Palisades. And you can see there's Siberia right there. That's the top chair. It's kind of right on that ridge line. You can see the chairlift when you're driving up through the valley. And there's the snow, right? So, you're well above 7,000 feet, but still, you're getting some snow up there. We can take a peek around, too. I think we can move here. So a little bit of snow high up on the hill. Not down lower. I was looking at some of the stuff down at the lodge. It's not. But this is clearly just a dusting, which is awesome. There is the weather system here, and if you point out, you can kind of see the swirl. Right, that's rough, but that's the upper level low, and it's migrating off that way. You can see the Bay Area clearing out today after a few morning showers again. Down in Southern California, an extensive layer of low clouds. Those low clouds will dissipate today as well, and then you see the string of clouds along the Sierra Nevada. I was just thinking too. I wonder if Whitney's. Let's do this. God. Getting in a bad habit, you guys, of doing this to you, but I kind of want to go. This is Alert, California, and there's Mammoth Mountains, Mammoth Lakes. Let's see, Mammoth Mountain 1. We'll see if Mammoth's getting any snow. Yeah, hello, look at us. Yeah, buddy, look at that. Hold on, let me go back down here. I'll grab this big one. Wow, Mammoth got some snow. They did get snow yesterday too. I actually knew that. So you can kind of see, top of Mammoth Mountain, which is very, very high. It's up over, it's over 10,000 feet. So, and you see the sensors, and again, you go, why does Mammoth get so much snow? Well, a lot of times it has to do, those mountains are elevated, right? So they're higher than the Sierra Nevada, but they also have access, Mammoth has access to more subtropical or more moisture. It's further south. So there's more of a moisture field down here. So when you do get dynamics here, you've got the mechanics of over 10,000 foot Sierra Nevada mountains, and then you've got the moisture coming in off the south. So just a little nugget there. Big cloud shield here out in the central Nevada desert. Looks like it's producing some showers, maybe even thunder showers. I would suspect there could be a thunder shower today up around northeast part of our state. Okay, so we've covered that. Let's take a look at live camera. This is where I grew up. Oh, I'll be damned. Yeah, that's paradise. That's Sawmill Peak. I used to live in these canyons. This is Feather River Canyon. Pardon me. And this is the Butte Creek Canyon. Butte Creek still has a salmon run. And when I moved to Paradise, the Feather River still had a salmon run. This is the West Branch or the North Fork of the Feather. So beautiful, beautiful town. And what I noticed, I was looking at this earlier. This is right now, so it's beautiful day. Paradise today goes 66 degrees. But what's interesting about Paradise is after that fire, the fire came over across the Feather River Canyon and then burned down this way, right? And tried to it did get into the Butte Creek Canyon out around Honey Run. But to me, it's almost not recognizable because basically this town, see how these trees, how dense they are? This is actually up by my buddy Joe's house. They lost their house too. But this area, these trees, this is a last clump, but a lot of these trees, this is how the whole town looks. So this whole ridge was just trees. It hadn't burned in a long, long time. And now I sort of, in some ways, aesthetically, I do like the town a little more because you can see there's a view. It's not just trees. This is Richardson Springs out of Chico. This is today. I just like some pretty cloud shots. Hope you're having a nice Friday. I'm thinking I'm going to go over to that Bluegrass Festival in the city tomorrow probably. So that's Chico, above Chico. Richardson Springs, which used to be a health spa, very famous health spa. We talked about that before, right? This is South Lake Tahoe. I didn't see any snow up at Heavenly. This would be top of Heavenly. California used to be right. I talk about this all the time, but this is, I got to get through weather. I got so many thoughts going through my head. It's good coffee this morning. I'll see if I can get back to the California thing, but this is above Halama. Halama today will go 65. This is Point Conception, one of my favorite cameras. This is Alert California. They use them for, there's a plethora of these cameras, but there's a live picture. I can put a quick loop on it. You see the clouds. Sorry about the slurp. And Halama's awesome. I've had some good surf days out there. And there's a campground down there too, which is super awesome. Halama today goes 65, as I said. And then this would be Mount Tamalpais this morning. And you see, not fog. It looks like fog. It's just low clouds because the inversion, which I'll show you in a minute, is busted. Isn't that beautiful? California, right? So we just did a little tour around the state. We didn't go south of Point Conception. I probably should have gone further south, but it's such a pretty place. I mean, look what we just visited. Look at this. I love this shot. The paradise shot's beautiful. And the northern California, Lake Tahoe, Santa Barbara, and Marin County. So just come on, dude. Look where you live. Yeah, it costs a lot. It does, but it's awesome. The history of this state is. It's funny, I end up preaching I don't preach, but I'm such a California dude that when I think about the culture of this state and how awesome it is, because you've got to realize that everybody, even the people who are coming out here recently, they're adventurers, man. Like, it takes some sack to come out here. It's expensive. Used to be a lot of of hardships getting across the country before the Transcontinental Railroad. But the people that came, you or your dad or his dad, in my case, like a few generations back, those dudes were just ballers. And they came out here, they were creative. They were sometimes they were swindlers, sometimes they were salesmen, sometimes they were scientists, it's awesome. So it's a petri dish of really unique gene pool, I guess, if you would, or really everyone. And even if you just came out here, because I always hear this story, I'll be out in the water and somebody have an accent, and I'll go, where are you from? I go, Detroit. I go, what are you doing surfing, right? It's like this kid breaks loose of the Great Lakes, goes, I want to go learn to surf and be in California and be a part of that. And if the kid sticks, he's going to add to the bouquet, if you will. It's awesome. Sorry, I know I get going, I tear up a little bit, but it is awesome, right? It's really cool. Okay, so this is the profile, and I just wanted to show no inversion, right? So that's warm air under cool air, which is innately going to create mixing. The warm air will rise up through the cooler air aloft, and you'll get these mixing, and you'll get better air quality, and that because you're basically into 4,000 feet of depth. This is how far the profile goes up to. That's clear sky. Okay, so again, we take a look at the HRRR. This is for today. This is right now. Now, this helps because we talk about this. HRRR's hourly updated model. This initializes pretty good because this is kind of where that low is now, right? So it shows. So yesterday it didn't do that. Yesterday it was initializing. It was like if it's not showing what's happening now, this is going to be one of those days, isn't it? I hope you're up for bearing with me. So there it is, right? So that's live radar. This is the initialization of the HRRR. And so you check that and you go, okay, that's pretty close. It's pretty close. Yesterday it wasn't even close at all. And so it's like, what's going to, so now you're free balling. Here's what we got. This thing falls apart. That little zone falls apart pretty quick. This is about 10 o'clock this morning. And you see the low, see the rotation on the low. So foothills, some scattered showers, maybe a thunder shower out around Susanville up in here. This is this afternoon. Maybe this would be the time you'd see a thunderstorm. This is this afternoon again, still kind of late afternoon. You see that low spinning out into Nevada now. And then that should be it. So that's HRRR. This is the NAM, North America model, and it initializes pretty well as well because we looked at the radar. And you can see, okay, kind of the same, right? Oh, you know what's nice to point out here. Yesterday I was saying, these lows, these troughs. The trough is the jet stream. The low is the pressure, the rotation, essentially. The dynamics typically on these lows, I'll go back this one, are like here. They're typically on so let's say the low is dead center here. The dynamics, the lift, there's dynamics on the back side, but on the front side, that front two quadrants, but mainly the front right lower quadrant. Does that make sense to you? So if I was to draw, sorry, it's like mini physics lesson. So I draw this. This is the most powerful quadrant of the low. The low's centered there. This has some game, and back here is usually NVA or negative vorticity advection, so you don't have as strong a dynamics. It's a broad brush, but when we look at this model now, we can see the stronger dynamics to the right of the low. See it? See it? See it? See it? So, and this is the North American, and it moves off. And that is true as that thing tracks all the way across the country. So today there'll be some light scattered showers. And then again, same thing works for here. This is the trough. This is the low. Here, so I'll draw a center. Strongest dynamics are down in here. Some good dynamics here, and lesser dynamics, even though there's color back there, lesser dynamics on the back side of the low. So whenever I look at a low, I look at this quadrant, okay? So this is the GFS 500 millibar. And if you have any questions, sometimes I cover a lot, but I try not to get technical, partly because a lot of this stuff, when I was a kid, when we learned actually how to make these models, I think we learned how to make the LFM, lifted fine mesh, and then the nested grid model, the NGM. And we made them from, we started with the weather balloon, and we went through all the Laplacians and the calculations and omega equation, and I can't remember, hypsometric equations. And we built these models. So I saw how they were built. They're awesome. They're not perfect, but they're awesome. But I know a lot of that stuff I've sort of, I would, if I had to run numbers through the hypsometric equation, I'd be struggling. Just because, right? You don't do it much anymore. But the basics ideas of it are that this right front quadrant's got game. There's the trough. This is the system that we just tracked. And then what's changed a little bit here is this weekend looks pretty good. Now I finally get to the weather, huh? Weekend looks pretty good weather-wise. For the Bluegrass Festival in the park. So this is through Sunday morning. See the little NVA, you're kind of on the back side. Is yet inside slider. We're sort of on the back side of that. So kind of a nice pattern. It's got a real strong fall vibe. The rest of today, except for the showers in the mountains, Sunday or Saturday and Sunday looks nice. And then here we are into Monday and Tuesday, and you got a little ridging. That looks nice. And then this is the piece that was going to bring us those showers. This is October 10th. And you see how it kind of kisses into the Tahoe County, Shasta County area. And sort of rotates, retrogrades a little bit and digs, right? But still ridges, right? So this is very different than what we were looking at yesterday even. That's a big ridge. That's going to be some warmth, right? If that goes down. So really, the October 10th will be our next opportunity right in here. That's next Friday, October 10th. So we'll see. And again, lots can happen. So temperature forecast for today. Models are a lot. But we looked at the HRRR and the North American. We were able to pick out that low. We understand, most of the stuff happens in the right quadrant, right front quadrant, mainly in the right lower front quadrant, and then the upper left front right quadrant has dynamics. Behind it, there is some, but not much. Most of it's negative. They are sinking and spinning clockwise. These are the forecast highs for today. Kind of stoked about the Bluegrass Festival. I told you yesterday I was at the very first one. Warren was a friend, actually. I used to forecast for his events because he really got into bluegrass. The Warren Hellman, who I think he was a super rich guy, but you would never know it. and he would do these events, and so I became his personal meteorologist, which was fun for me. It wasn't like I was getting paid, but it was kind of scary too because he'd have these events. The first one was at Sugar Bowl, and it's like mountain weather. There was probably 500 people there or something like that. Wasn't very many of us, but you just don't want to screw up you just don't want to. So I did the weather, and I used to do it for the one in the park too. But I don't think I do it, and I haven't done it in a while. There's other ways to get weather now, like what we're doing. Okay, so here is the forecast eyes. Here are the forecast eyes. Watch what happens tomorrow. Oh, that's not happening tomorrow. Huh. I meant to put the tomorrow one in. Let me see if I got there. No, I guess not. Okay. Tomorrow's going to be a little warmer. Temperatures are going to generally be in the 80s, low 80s in the Central Valley, along the coast, 60s and 70s. So it's going to be a really nice period once this system gets out of here. That hurricane down off, or that system trying to become a hurricane off Baja, has some friends down there. They're on a surf trip, and we were communicating back and forth. Right now, it looks like it's going to stay tropical storms, and they're going to track mainly. You can see the tracking area is mainly to the west of the tip of the peninsula. And then what else we got? Yeah, that's a pretty good sized little ridge building up here behind. You can see that. This is the national map, watches and warnings and stuff for today. This is wind advisory here. Winds will be blowing pretty good. This is a freeze watch for parts of northeastern California. That's that low, right? Because that low goes through. It's pulling cold air in behind it. Here's a flash flood watch. Here is a winter storm warning. Yeah, interesting. Is that what it is? Yeah, winter storm warning. And then here you've got I can't remember, is that red flag warning? Yeah, red flag warning. So that's sort of interesting, isn't it? Right next to the winter storm warning. So cool there. There's a pressure or a temperature gradient here that's creating strong winds. So they probably have that's where the red flag warning is. And then down in Texas, you still have got poor air quality. A little bit here too. Not sure what that air quality is from in Texas. I haven't spent a lot of time in Texas. The thing about Texans is, this is the 6 to 10 day. Texans are a lot like Californians. I know, don't freak, but they are. They're really loud, but they're not Californians. But they're kind of not too dissimilar because it's a sort of a pioneering, frontiering kind of a group of guys and women that moved there back in the 1700s. But they're not. And California is awesome, dude. And that whole thing I said, if you read any California history, you will see, and I hate to say this, it's how special you are. If you're here, it's going to take sack to be here. It really does. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of patience if you're conservative. It takes a lot of patience if you're liberal. It takes a lot of patience if you're Native American. Right? And if you survive it and live in it, and this petri dish that we call home, it's freaking awesome. I know, and I can't tell you. I remember when that whole earthquakes. That's one of the. That's something we do get with living here. We got earthquakes, fire, drought. What else? Flooding. We got all this stuff, man. On the Pacific Ring of Fire, where most earthquakes happen, right? So this is the last day of 2.5 pluses. Let's see what's going on here. They've had a bunch on the peninsula here. 6.1. I cannot pronounce that name off of Russia. Vilihunchynsk. But that's 6.1's a big quake. Here's another. Well, that's the one we just did. Here's another one. This is 5.1. So this ring of fire, this is all in the last day, man, produces some quakes, right? And I'm not a geologist. I know just enough to be dangerous, but there have been quakes here that impact over here, obviously, right? So because the whole plate's turning, teleconnections, I guess you would call it. So everything's connected. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. This is today. This is up around Battle Creek, or Manton, California. Manton. I thought it was Battle Creek. Had a little earthquake up there. 3.4, and then San Diego had a little earthquake, which a little earthquake is a 3.2. And then, so it's busy, very busy. And if we want to do the 30-day significant, let's do this. And significant means in the last month, this was that big 7.8. This was a 6.9. This is in the last month. We had a big one up in up at the Berkeley one. Felt that one, and then the last one in California. These are significant over the last month. I wonder if that shows up. That's 3.5 at Atascadero. I know. It's kind of fun looking at all these. And then the 30 days, 4.5 or more. And again, 90%, I think it's like 95% of all earthquakes on the planet Earth occur in this area, which is the area that we spend a lot of time in. And what's interesting about us is they have a lot of moderate earthquakes. You notice that? And you notice we don't have a lot of moderate earthquakes, 4.5 and above. We don't have a lot. But we do have a ridiculous amount of earthquakes in general. Look at that. So isn't that interesting? So they're all lots of small earthquakes. I don't know what that. I'd love to ask a geologist what that is, because that's a lot of small earthquakes. That's a lot. So I don't know what you do with that. That's all magnitude. So those are microquakes as well, but it's interesting that our microquakes are outnumbering. I wonder if it has to do. Yeah, I guess it's just landmass in close proximity. Because see, these are more like atolls or island chains, right? On those subduction zones. And we have more, maybe we have more, I should know that. I don't know, that's interesting. Maybe you got an answer for me. I'm just curious why we see such a cluster here. But again, this is not to scare you. That is to show you that, yes, the planet is alive. The plates are moving. We are, we didn't really even know the plates were moving until about 1962 or 63. Can you believe that? Like, it took that long to figure out, we didn't know what earthquakes were. I mean, we kind of theorized, but they didn't really know about plate tectonics at that point. That's pretty recent. And yeah, it's back then when we've got the first satellite images too. So science, this is the forecast model for Swell. I'm just looking at, like you, just look it up in the Gulf of Alaska. The only thing I really picked out here was this guy. See this little spinner here, South America, or down towards Mexico. That probably is going to, that's a forecasted tropical storm or hurricane. See it working north. Good swell off Baja, and then kind of merges into that north swell. That's about it. And then you can see the hurricanes out this is swell, but you can see the hurricanes clearly, right? And that hurricane, that Gulf Stream really does a nice job pushing the hurricanes offshore for the East Coast. This is San Francisco's Ocean Beach. It's an awesome day, huh? I love seeing the sun out. A little windy though, right? You see the white caps. Actually, probably a lot windy, seeing the bird. This is Malibu. This is way up at the point. That's just a pretty day. Ocean good. And then this is Mount Whitney. Today, Whitney's going to be probably in this upper 60s. We saw Mammoth had snow on it. We did that. This would be Mount Shasta. I don't know if Shasta's going to let us see Shasta today. Is that Shasta? This is from, actually, you know what I did? I think I took this. This is from, I see what I did. Okay. Ooh, this is that might be Shasta. Yeah, that's looking towards the southwest. This is from Wairika. That's looking out over the valley, and you're basically at that point, you're looking kind of northeast up towards Klamath Falls. That kind of day up there, temperatures are barely getting out of the 50s, if lucky. And then this is Myrtle Beach camera. Actually, it's not. I think I got Myrtle Beach. This is Tanaki, Alaska. This is just my Earth Cam window. This is New Orleans, Bourbon Street. That'd be tough. Can you imagine driving that truck around down there? Yeah. God, New Orleans always looks hot, doesn't it? Wow. Guy's going to back that thing up. I guess he'd have to. Those streets would be tough. But it always doesn't look hot down there. Looks really hot. New Orleans, everybody. And then I think we got New York, Chicago. Okay. Beautiful day out on lake. Big lake. Never been to Chicago. Got to go. This is Venice Beach. People running. very different than New Orleans. You know, and that's interesting, right? So what we just did, that's a little sociological thing. Because we were just on Bourbon Street, right? And I'm like, people are kind of slugging around because it's kind of hot and and then you go to California and it's like, this is that thing I was talking about. These people, a lot of them are from New Orleans or from Texas or whatever, but they get out here and they get a skateboard and then they get out here and they get a bike and they get out here and there's something about this place makes you want to move. It's probably the weather, it's the people, it's the other people moving, but it's kinetic. It really is. That was awesome. I like that little sociological deal because again, there's you go into New Orleans, people are moving around for sure, but the weather's probably a little more difficult, maybe a little older crowd or a little younger crowd. But here it's like you can't. And again, I'm not promoting Venice Beach. I'm just saying the lifestyle out here is so interesting, just different. Doesn't mean it's better, just means it's different. Okay, I found this. This is Jackie and Shadow came back to the nest. Ooh, I know about that. And then I think this was recorded a little while ago. So kind of that time of year, right, where we're going to see somebody take over this nest, hopefully. I think that's Jackie, and I think Shadow comes in. Let's see if I can get him to come in here. There, yeah, he comes in. Isn't that awesome? So, I know. It's awesome. So let's see what else we got. I don't know. I'm just tugging along. Thanks for hanging in. Yeah, they're just doing their eating. Oh, they're just checking stuff out. That's awesome. It's beautiful. Okay, so maybe we'll get a chance to watch some birds again. Right now, I'm hurting for animals because the bears are kind of done, kind of almost winter up there. These guys are not nesting yet, or I don't have a good nesting camera. The seals at Fisherman's Wharf camera is not working great. The Farallon Islands fogged in, so we need I like having a good wildlife camera to look at. Okay, all right, I think we covered it. Have a good day. Today's Friday. See you back here. I might be back. I don't know if I'll see you Saturday. I'll try to if there's something going on. But the weekend looks pretty awesome. All right, you know who you are. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here. Maybe I like that shot though. I'm not leaving. I can always tell Jackie. That's her right there with her back to us. I'm pretty sure. Because she's so serious. And then Shadow, I wonder. And that's Shadow. He's super. Okay, so the way he shows her his love, which is what I got from a lot of you, is he fiddles with the nest. He brings sticks back. He's a real nester, right? He's the guy. And Mom, Jackie, is kind of like the mayor, right? But see how he's busy doing stuff? Oh. And my wife likes that part of it. All right, I got to go. I'll see you back here.